everyone. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. I am so excited to be here after Shavuot. We had an incredible Chag, and we are back to business for our summer, spring season. Or at least spring season. Maybe it's actually going to warm up in New York. We don't know. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Naomi Nachman. I'm about all the food all the time. I love food. I love to shop for it, cook it, eating at restaurants, anything food related. I'm a personal chef. I'm a cookbook author. I cook for people for Shabbat, for Yom Tov. Anytime you don't feel like cooking, you can give me a call, or I can make you a restaurant recommendation. I hope you'll tune in every week and hear about my exciting cooking adventures, my kosher food traveling, and sharing of great recipes and food ideas each week. But I want to hear from you guys too. So email me, naomi@nachumsegal.com. I love hearing from you. Thank you, Ruvain and Judy, for always chiming up and popping up on Facebook and email. I really appreciate your listenership or your viewership. And we are right here on the Nachum Segal Network. But we also have our YouTube channel as well, where you can watch the video as well. A little roundup. I haven't been on the air since a week or two before Shavuot. I just want to give a shout out to some restaurants. 2 restaurants I ate at recently that I loved. One was Fomen. It is out there in Crown Heights. It was delicious. Had an incredible meal. And then I was, it's Vietnamese food. And you know, I was in Vietnam last year with Miriam Schreiber on her Kosher Legacy Tours, and wait till you hear what's coming up in the next couple of weeks with Miriam. But Fomen was amazing. Phomen. Not the tomato kind of thing. You pronounce PHO in Vietnam as pho. So there you go. I sound a little cocky there, right? Sorry. Just want to get it right for everyone. Okay, and then I ate at the Indian restaurant, Nevanatara, in Stamford, Connecticut. It's milchik. Delicious. I love Indian food. It's so well priced. It's amazing. It's under the Vard of Stamford, Connecticut. Go check it out. And then you can go to Silverman's Farms as well, about half an hour away, and go pick your own vegetables. So that was a great day with my family, a real foodie day. Go pick food and then you go eat food. So yay. Hope everyone had a really great Shavuot. I'm a little bit sick of milchiks. Can I say that? I love milchiks, don't get me wrong, but I'm definitely a much bigger carnivore than I am a dairy person. Okay, so we have a great lineup. I'm really glad to be back here. ZK, how was your Yom Tov? Good. He doesn't have the mic on him. He's given me 2 thumbs up. It was good. ZK doesn't love his dairy as much as he loves meat, right? We're going to have some fleischiks. Well, at least we're going to have parv soon. No dairy on this show today. So I have an incredible lineup. I have Dr. Eliana Aaron from Israel. We're going to hear all about the incredible work that she does. And on my left in the studio right here, and we're going to talk to him after we talk to Dr. Eliana. We're going to talk to Naftali, and we're going to Engel. Yeah. And we're going to talk Chatan, Hachusin. He's getting married in a week or so, maybe
6 days.
6 days from airing time. That's like 4 days. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, it's 4 days when we're airing on Friday.
Oh, wow. So, and
getting ready for the Afraf.
Oh, very nice. And we're going to have a pre-Kiddush here with all his Rebbe's Choice of the Rebbe's Choice. My favorite herring. One of my favorite herrings, because I do love herring, and I work with a lot of herring companies.
You have to appreciate all the
I have to appreciate
options.
Everyone's herring, and I love, Aussies and Schwartzes, and the Rebbe's Choice is right up there with them, and I'm very excited to share it with everyone. So, without further ado, let me introduce everyone to Dr. Eliana Aaron. She is a doctor of nurse practitioner. Am I saying that right?
It's a nursing practice, but it's a doctor's degree for nurse practitioners. So you are right.
Okay, great. I just don't want to. It's a very coveted title. You've worked very hard to get where you are. I'm just going to read some of your credentials. I can't even say all the letters, but there's like a DNP, APN, BC, CR, like. It's a long list of amazing degrees that she has. She's a U.S. board-certified nurse practitioner, and she lives in Israel. She's passionate about ensuring that her clients receive the best and quality care. She's had over 20 years of experience, and how long have you been in Israel? 20 years?
No, I've been in Israel for 16 years.
16 years. Okay. So
Yeah.
she's just a wealth of knowledge. I came to Eliana actually on my Pesach program. It all comes back to Pesach. I met people who she had sent to Israel. And why don't we let you elaborate a little bit more and how you and I came together, and then you'll tell us how my listeners can use some of your services.
Thank you. Well, actually, the way that we met Naomi is kind of cool. We were hired by a family to help assure that they were going to have an allergy-free Pesach vacation. They were at the...
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say the Trump Doral. Yeah, I want to make sure we give them a shout out.
Of course. So we were at the Trump Doral in Miami, and a fabulous hotel.
With Ram Caterers.
Of course. And Ram Caterers was very accommodating to us. And we basically travel with families internationally to make sure that they have allergy-free meals for their allergic children or adults. And so basically we sent a team in, two people, and we sterilized part of the bakery and the kitchen, and we were able to provide them with absolutely fabulous food for the entire stay at the Trump Doral. And Ram Catering actually designated a chef just for us, and we were able to provide them allergy-free food that was absolutely out of this world. And that's how we met Naomi. So, and it was wonderful. So my company actually helps people who are on vacation and have food allergies be able to have a normal vacation experience. So a lot of us who don't have food allergies take for granted that when we go on vacation, we could go out to eat, we could go to restaurants, if we're in Israel, we could stay at hotels and eat at hotels. And when you have a child with a food allergy, which is actually 1 in 13 children has a life-threatening food allergy, so it's actually a lot of kids, they can't have a normal vacation. They have to plan all the meals in advance. Usually the mom is cooking or bringing food or schlepping food with her on vacation, constantly worried that their child's going to touch something that has an allergen they can't see. And it's very, very stressful. And about 50% of allergic reactions happen when people are not at home and people are, on vacation or away from their normal environment. So what we want to do is to give these moms a vacation and be able to say, we're going to worry about your child's food, and you can actually not worry about this. And it's a wonderful service that we provide both in Israel and also internationally. So we travel with our clients wherever they go. So it's very, very exciting.
It's unbelievable. What's the most exotic place that you have gone?
Well, we go to Europe. We are planning a safari with the family, which is very exciting. And
in South Africa? In South Africa?
Yeah.
Okay, not Europe.
Yeah, in South Africa. And so we've gone to Venice and Prague.
Oh, I've been there.
And in America we've been to several of the major cities like Los Angeles and New York and, of course, Miami, which we've done more than once. But we basically work with the restaurants, and in Israel we can work with the hotels, actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It really is. Israel used to be the scariest place for people to travel to.
That's what I've heard.
Food allergies.
That's what I've heard, because there's sesames flying everywhere.
Totally right. We actually tell people, if you have some of the major food allergies like eggs or peanuts, tree nuts, or sesame especially, that you really can't have any baked goods in the entire country of Israel. And the exception, of course, is, that we produce allergy-free baked goods under Hashkafa for people who are in Israel. And we're the only allergen-free bakery. We actually sterilize between batches of food so that we make sure that we have absolutely no cross contact with allergies. It's very exciting.
That's really unbelievable. I was a teacher 25 years ago. I was a Mora in a kindergarten, a Ganenet, right actually here on the Lower East Side, right up the block from here. I was a teacher in MTJ, the yeshiva here. And the only reason why we didn't give kids peanuts in school is they would choke. We weren't worried about allergies 25 years ago. The only person I knew with an allergy was my friend's dad, and he had hay fever. He would sneeze a lot. What's happened?
So that's a really great question. And actually, scientists and doctors and clinicians are asking themselves this same question, because the number of children with allergies, and of course children become adults with allergies because you don't outgrow it, has increased tremendously between 1997 and 2011. So there was an increase of 50% just in that period of time, which is completely crazy. So some people theorize that it's because of environmental things and people's immune systems are not good. The other thing that was found, which has to do a lot with food, is that the way that we were feeding babies was incorrect. And actually, they now, the American Academy of Pediatrics is now recommending that we actually feed small children all of the major allergens before age 7 months, because
really?
What we were doing before, yes, totally. It's totally different than it used to be. They want the children exposed to allergens so that their body gets used to it before they start having the ability to have a really bad allergic reaction. And it does reduce food allergies by about 80%.
Okay,
so I have a granddaughter. She's just turned 6 months old. She's had every allergen, the kosher allergen.
Okay, right. So here's here's the thing. If you are a big nurser, which I was, very open about that, my kids did not eat food for a very long time, and they were fat like anything, right? Growing beautifully just by nursing, right? Like, isn't that the more natural way to do things? And my kids, thank God, don't have allergies, and that's sheer dumb luck, I guess, at this point, because my husband had and I did not have allergies growing up, thank God. But back then that was the accepted thing to do, mother's milk.
So, right. So obviously, I'm a big nurser too. We definitely.
This is for all the ladies.
Nursing. No, absolutely. Sorry, gentlemen who are listening.
Yeah.
But we definitely recommend nursing.
It's natural.
For sure. We don't want to replace that, but it is important to introduce the allergens by 7 months old. So normally we recommend, because I'm also a medical provider, that you start feeding your baby at about 6 months old. So you have about a month. But some people start a bit earlier to feed their babies, but they continue nursing also.
Right, no, of course not. Of course they would. Yeah.
But they do want children to start having some food by 6 months now, and they actually want to try. It used to be you start one food, you wait 3 days, you start another food,
that was 20 years ago.
They don't want people doing that anymore. So
isn't there something called the Bumba test? What about the Bumba test? American kids now are told to eat Bumba from very young.
Right. So we just gave Bamba to my granddaughter over Shabbat. It was really great. And she's 6 months old. And the nice thing about Bamba is it has peanuts, okay, but it melts in your mouth.
Right.
So this baby, we stuck a Bamba in her mouth, and she didn't even know what to do with it because, what do you do with a Bamba? She has no teeth. But when we took it out of her mouth, it had completely melted in her mouth. So she was exposed successfully to peanuts. Without, thank God, no allergic reaction, but that way we are preventing her, hopefully, from having that allergy. And in Israel, it's extremely rare to have peanut allergies because they give babies peanuts in the form of baba, of course, from a very young. Old.
It's like their Cheerios. American kids, we give all our kids Cheerios, so they give their kids Bamba.
So in Israel they give kids Bamba. Bamba has soy in it, has some wheat in it, and has peanuts in it. But that's part of the allergy crisis in Israel. Is there's very little awareness of food allergies in Israel because Israeli kids generally don't have food allergies because they, at 6 months old they're having tahina, which has sesame, and they're having Bamba, which has peanuts, and they're having fish, and they're having all of these things very, very early. So when you're a tourist coming in and you have allergies, the chefs and the maitre d's at hotels, they don't even have a clue what that really means.
No, right.
And that's why it's so scary to be here. I've had clients, before they were my clients, of course, but that were in hospital in Israel for, with a kid in a coma because they had an allergic reaction that you couldn't possibly anticipate. So it becomes very frightening for people, and so we try to alleviate that.
Wow. Okay. So were you an allergy specialist back in the States? Or did you come into this when you came to Israel?
So that's a really good question. So actually,
Thank you.
That's a fabulous question. So actually, I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I worked as a family nurse practitioner both in the States and in Israel. I was the medical officer of the U.S. Consulate in Yerushalayim for 8 years, and then I did my doctorate at Yale University. And
she's really smart.
Sometimes. But while I was doing that, I was looking specifically at Israel and trying to figure out which populations or which health conditions don't have the optimal care they could. And that's sort of how I started getting into food allergies, is I started realizing that, first of all, tourists who come to Israel don't necessarily get the best health care. And Israel has great health care, but that if they have food allergies, it's just one story after another of people who have these horrible reactions to food allergies, and a couple of people died. So I started realizing that, and coincidentally at the time, I have an employee who had children with severe life-threatening food allergies, and she described to me what it was like to be on vacation and how frightening it was. And I started doing a lot of research and realizing, there is no company in the world that does this, and it has to get done. So I started Food Allergy Concierge.
How long has this been around?
We've been around for 3 years. We started off only in Israel, and basically we've expanded internationally in the last 2 years. And we now have about 10 employees who travel with our clients, and we train them very, very well, and we retrain all the time, and keep on top of all the research. And it's very exciting how we're growing and trying to accommodate all the different people who are looking for this kind of service,
Unbelievable. I'm completely blown away by people's also your entrepreneur, as well as being, someone in the medical field. You've actually seen a hole in the field. You saw where something was lacking and you jumped in. You try to, work with it, and then you started a business based off it. I love that. I love women in business.
So do I. I love it.
It's awesome. We work very hard.
Well, yeah, but I think it's really important actually for women to be more entrepreneurial.
Yes.
But I really, that's kind of the way I am. I see a problem, and then I say to myself, how am I going to help fix this problem? So when it comes to food allergies, there are a lot of problems. So I started off in Israel, and then our clients, and when we get a client for life. Like, they just want us coming with them on every vacation.
Because you're a game changer.
Yeah, well, that's it. I've had mothers come to me and with tears in their eyes and say, I didn't even remember what it was like to be on vacation.
Oh, that's
and I just,
so
and
beautiful.
It's heartbreaking. But I'm so pleased that we could do that for them. It's wonderful. But what we're able to do is so important. And then when they say, but we want to go on a cruise, we go on cruises. So we want to go on a cruise. Can you come with us on a cruise? And the answer is yes. If we have enough time to plan in advance, we can't, do last minute things because everything requires a huge amount of preparation.
Right, I would imagine.
Totally. That's the key to everything, to all safety, is planning in advance. But when we have clients who started saying, but we want to travel to other places, not just to Israel. So we said, you know what? We have to do this. We have to give this to them. So it's amazing.
Oh, unbelievable. This is really like a game changer for so many families. I mean, no one in my family has allergies, if I could say Baruch Hashem, because...
Thank God, Baruch Hashem, yeah.
It is definitely a challenge. But I love to travel and to be held back by something, but your kid's life or your own health is the most important thing. And
Of course.
the fact that you can alleviate so much for so many families is just incredible.
Yeah. And it's, and we've worked with families who, we work with people who are obviously Jewish and frum and kosher, but we also work with people who are not Jewish. And people say to me, my husband and I go on vacation without our children because we don't want to leave this child out. They are very wealthy. They own a boat. This particular family I'm thinking of, they own a boat. They can't go away with their children on vacation. The child is 10 years old, and he's never been on vacation. It's just so sad. It's not like a money issue. It's a safety issue where the mom is just really worried about this child. And, also, by the way, when kids come to seminary and yeshiva, it's a huge problem because they come to Israel and they're alone without their parents for the first time. And it's like, and no one's telling you what to eat. And I see a lot of problems happening here in Israel when kids come for their year and all of a sudden making bad decisions. So we try to actually work with them too. I'm
really glad you brought that. I actually have in my notes year in Israel because that is a huge thing. My friend, I have 3 daughters. Actually, I have 4 daughters, but one's still young. 3 daughters went through the seminary system in the last couple of years, and some of them had friends who have crazy allergies. One girl could not be in the same seminary dorm if they were baking apples in their dira. Somehow, the smell of baked apples in the air put her into anaphylactic shock. She never had it before, and she never had it again in America. But only in Israel, the baked apples would put her into shock. One of my daughters could not eat gluten in Israel. She could only be gluten-free because somehow the bread in Israel or the glutens in Israel were killing her stomach. So she went gluten-free. She came back to America, back to gluten, no problem. It's so interesting how each country, maybe it's the water, how the water reacts with the gluten, with her stomach. Who knows? I mean, came in for Pesach, took her for some testing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have a kid that's going to be celiac or gluten-free. It ends up being nothing, just something in Israel. But like a lot of the kids that go off to Israel have really big allergies. How can we make them feel safe? What lessons can we teach these kids if, pointers that we can give these kids who are going off to Israel?
Well, that's a really good question. And I think part of it depends on your allergy. So, for example, we had a seminary student this year who's allergic to milk. Now, milk is an allergy where if you are in Yerushalayim, it's very easy. Just avoid halavi restaurants, like avoid dairy restaurants, and then you're fine because there's not going to be milk in a meat restaurant.
Right.
But for example, she went to an ice cream store where they had vegan. So vegan means no eggs, no milk.
Yeah.
Ices. And the problem is that if you're in the same store, they're going to use the same scooper.
Yeah.
And she ended up in an anaphylactic reaction. And she thought she was being, safe, asking, is this dairy-free? It's vegan, but the kids have to know about the cross-contact problem, that the same utensil cannot touch anything you've been allergic to. So if you haven't seen it being cleaned right in front of you, that's a problem. And also, if it wasn't cleaned the last time they scooped out of that ice cream, then it doesn't matter what the spoon is. It's already in there. So I tell people you have to, if you think about having a gate around the mitzvah, like if you have a mitzvah, then you have a gedera around the mitzvah. So you have to think about your allergy like that. Like for example, I had 2 small kids in Israel who got anaphylactic reactions. Both were in comas from eating a pita bread. Oh. They're allergic to sesame. There's no sesame in pita. But in the store, people are touching everything, and sesame oil is invisible, and obviously there was cross-contact. So these two little babies who were 4 and 6 years old, they ended up individually, not the same family, in comas in the hospital during someone's vacation in Israel, and that's a terrible situation. So I tell people if you have egg, peanut, tree nut, or sesame allergy, you really need to not have any baked goods in Israel at all from any public place. Again, like we produce that, obviously that's different, but any commercial bakery or hotel, you can't have any baked goods. So no hamotzi, no nothing, which is obviously very challenging because the pastries in Israel can be quite tempting.
Yes. Where can they find your information to get your bread? You should actually, here's a great business idea. Both of us in business here all the time.
There we go.
You should contact the seminaries and offer the bread to them to have in the freezers for the girls or set the girls that can order the bread.
Right. So that's actually
the boys
a really good idea. The issue is that there are so many different combinations of allergies that we would have to make many different kinds of bread, and it would have to be labeled correctly, and then we would have to make sure that the seminary didn't screw up and give the wrong, bread to the wrong person. Like we sterilize between making our bread batches, for example. So if we have someone allergic to eggs, then we make an egg-free bread. If someone's not allergic to eggs, we want them to have an egg bread. So, so it's trying to balance that, and we're not going to do gluten-free bread, obviously, which is not even hamotzi, but we're not doing gluten-free bread for people who don't have a gluten allergy. So the issue is there's so many kinds, but we do send information to the seminaries and yeshivas, and actually every year we have parents who order, and this year we actually gave large orders to yeshivas, and they made room in their freezer. So we gave like 2-3 months of frozen pastries and breads and cookies and all kinds of baked goods, like 3 months supply, and then the kids were good for a long time. And that worked very, very well because then we made that batch for that child's allergy.
I love this. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I know what it's like sending kids off without allergies and the anxiety you have. What are they going to eat?
Sure.
And they got in quite a lot of the girl. I keep referring to the seminary because they only have daughters. But for the boys also, like usually the food is prepared for them and the girls have got to cook their own. How fair is that? I don't know. Not at all.
I don't know either.
Yeah, whatever. And we pay a lot. I mean, the girls pay a lot of money and they have to make their own food.
Sure.
But that's another note for another time.
That's the next show.
Right? But my daughters in general eat very healthy and they're very, we try not to eat processed food in general because we like to eat clean. But still, like, you worry about what they're going to eat, how's she going to manage?
Sure.
And then, yet alone with a kid with an allergy. So I think this is great. I really would love to shout this from the rooftops. Are you on Instagram?
I'm not on Instagram. I probably should be.
By the end of this conversation, by the end of Motzei Shabbat, when people are really going to hear, people will hear the show all week, you're going to start an Instagram page so I can direct people to you because I think it's really important. So how can people find you to know more about what's going on?
So first of all, people can find us on foodallergyconcierge.com. We actually have a page for people who are kosher, but you could see from our photos, we actually, it's an international business. So that's how they could reach us through the website. They can, and we can do a consultation and tell people what we could do for them. Like one of the very simple, basic things we do for dozens of kids in yeshiva and seminary is we have a food allergy card that we give people. We do it in any language, but, mostly in Hebrew for the kids in Israel. But it's not just a food allergy card. It has all the hidden allergens that chefs don't even realize are in products that they use all the time. So the Israeli chef who doesn't even know what allergens are going to have a list of things to avoid. It has emergency medical information. It has specific information to keep the kids safe. So if they go to a restaurant and they show that card, it explains to the chef how they can eat safely in their restaurant. And so far we've been very successful at a minimal cost to get people as safe as possible with those cards. So that's something else. But anyway, people can contact me through foodallergyconcierge.com. My email is info@foodallergyconcierge.com. And we obviously have free consultations, and we can help people plan their allergy-free vacation from A to Z.
Absolutely.
We work with top
Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. We work with, dozens of high-end concierge companies all over the world. So, we get a call from, England. We have a family coming to Israel, and they want to have this itinerary, and they want to eat out, and then we build the food itinerary. It's very exciting.
I love it. I'm completely blown away. And the more I hear you talk, the more I'm like completely blown away, but really by everything that you're doing and keeping everyone safe who has allergies. This is Dr. Eliana Aaron, all the way from Israel right now. Foodallergyconcierge.com to find out more information about what she does. Thank you so much for being on the show and giving up your time.
It's my pleasure. I'm going to open an Instagram account. You've inspired me.
Okay, great. And I'm serious. Let's talk more about it next week.
You got it.
All right.
Okay.
Great. Well, WhatsApp.
Take care.
All right. Thank you so much. It was amazing. This is Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. I didn't address the fact, ZK, that we had a late start today. We had the marathon, for the fundraiser. We call it the fundraiser marathon. So that explains a little bit of why the show is airing a little bit later today than usual, but we're still having our full hour, which is so exciting because I have sitting next to me. The smell is killing me in a good way because I'm like dying to eat the herring. Naftali Engel is with me, the Rebbe, the herring Rebbe, sitting here right now. Just one more thing, guys. Make sure you donate. You're listening to us on NachumSegal.com. Hit to the donate page, but you can donate now. During the marathon, during our fundraising marathon. But remember, you can also donate during the year. If you liked a really great show and you just want to keep supporting Nachum and everybody that we do, everything that we do, and we love what we do, keep supporting the network. That's all I'm going to say. I'll say it again maybe at the end. So this is Table for Two, about to eat 6 choices of herring right here on the Nachum Segal Network. Hi, Naftali. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. It's been a while in the making.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about some herring, right?
We're herring. So I met Naftali back at Kosher Fest.
Yes.
Usually Kosher Fest used to be all about herring and gefilte fish.
All the Heimish stuff.
All the Heimish stuff. But then it became like too gourmet for it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what the heck? Because I love herring and gefilte fish. So I was a little disappointed that, yeah. So you were like the only herring guy this year.
I was the only herring guy in
Thank
the
God.
2017 Kosher Fest.
Because you blew everyone out of the water.
Ooh, that's it, yeah. Big fish in a small pond. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, we'll take all that. Actually, herrings are tiny, aren't they?
Herrings are, they're about 6-inch fish, yeah.
Okay, so how did you get started in this, young entrepreneur?
Well, I always enjoyed eating herring. But where it really started was when I was in yeshiva in Israel. I went to OJ, Yeshiva Or Yerushalayim.
Yeah, sure. In Meir.
Beit Meir.
Moshav Beit Meir, yeah.
Moshav Beit Meir. And I just couldn't find the herring that I enjoyed eating on Shabbos. So I happened to be in Tzfat, where my brother lives, actually. My brother,
that's cool.
His wife and their daughter, they live there.
My grandparents were from Tzfat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lovely.
We got the family plots there. We even own some land, something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's their apartment.
It's rubble. It's rubble, actually,
okay.
the land, but whatever.
All right. You could build something nice, I guess.
Yeah. A matchbox house, yeah.
So I was by my brother for Shabbos, and I was in their shul, and somebody had this delicious, homemade herring. So I went to the maker of this great herring, and I asked him, what do you do to make this herring? So being that it's Tzfat, he said, first you dance with the fish. Then you go to the mikvah
with the fish.
with
what,
the fish. He didn't say if you bring the fish with you. He said say some tehillim, learn some Likutei Moharan, and then maybe you could start chopping onions. So I was like, maybe just salt, pepper. What are we talking spices here? I got a very basic recipe from my brother in the end. And that I started developing on it, and that became our first flavor, the jalapeno machos herring, which is...
Is it very spicy?
The jalapeno machos itself isn't.
I don't like
spicy.
But we're gonna eat these, okay? ZK and I pretending it's Shabbos.
Right.
We're close to Shabbos, but it's not actually Shabbos.
We're already in Wednesday.
You tell us.
So go for it. This is the.
Okay, but we have to have it with crackers. Let's talk about
100%.
what crackers do you eat this with?
So we've got. I recommend the whole wheat knackers from Shibolim. Knackers.
Oh. Okay. Shibolim. Okay. Whole wheat. Okay, we're going to be healthy, ZK. I'm going to make us a platter.
They're a very neutral cracker. It doesn't change the flavor.
Okay,
of the
so is that what
herring
we're
too
looking
much.
for? Tell us about how we pair herring.
I think you want it. Well, pairing with a cracker, you want something neutral. You don't want something too thick where your mouth dries out from the cracker itself.
Good point.
So you just want something that's able. It's a good vehicle to get the herring to your mouth.
Okay, without getting herring all over the place
Right,
or all
right.
over the. Here we actually have plates. Okay, ZK, this is kind of like our typical. I'm going to give you a napkin because we're so polite here. So, okay, whoa, I got some oil on that. There you go, ZK. Okay, Rachel, you're going to have. Is her microphone on? Yeah. Okay, you can say hello.
Hi, guys.
Okay, this is Rachel Ash. She actually goes to my girls' high. When my kids went to school at SKA, we've actually had a few interns here over the years, and Rachel's interning with me. Seeing the Naomi Nachman, like Michigan Food Life. So we came into the studio today, and she is with me, watching us all do this stuff. But you can have herring.
I'll try some.
Oh
You'll
wow!
Can I just say that's pretty brave? I thought you'd say no thanks. I'll give it a skip, but
I feel like I have to.
okay.
Wow.
See, this is a serious foodie. Okay,
Yeah, that's-
when you have a teenage girl that's willing to try herring. Hats off to you, my friend.
I'm also like raised in a family that really likes herring, so
Okay, her dad is my kid's pediatrician, Dr. Zev Ash, best pediatrician.
thank you.
Okay.
I agree.
Best male pediatrician. My sister-in-law's a pediatrician in
Okay.
Borough Park, Dr. Rivka Goldfinger. That's her maiden name, Dr. Rivka Steen. I said her maiden name back. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to make you a cracker. Do you like spicy? Maybe wait for the sweeter ones.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, ZK, you ready?
Like breaking the fast. You know?
Breaking the fast. Okay, we have to make a bracha. Baruch atah Adonai le'melech haolam minim mizrah.
Man.
Someone has to talk.
So the jalapeno matches herring that you're having right now, each flavor is inspired by a different Hasidic Rebbe.
All right.
So this one you're having right now is inspired by Rav David of Lelov, and on the back of each container it tells you what that inspiration, how that came to be, and it's just a small biography of who Rav David of Lelov was.
Okay, you see the picture of the Rebbe? And on the back, I'm trying not to spill
Without
it because there's no
spilling the
lid
oil.
on. I don't want to get in the carpet, or they'll have to get new carpet. And there is the back on the. You got there, ZK? All right. Who did your sketch of the Rebbe? He's so cute.
That one, it's funny. I'm a graphic designer myself. I did a lot of the packaging.
I
Although
can
I'm
tell.
not an illustrator, so I wasn't able to
Draw.
such an incredible visage of a Rebbe. So I actually hired somebody on a website called Fiverr.com, where everything is $5, and this ended up costing me about $30, just with expediting and commercial use, high quality vector graphics and things like that. But it ended up being $30 graphic altogether.
I love it.
Yeah.
The packaging is so cute. Where's my phone? I want to show everyone who's watching on our YouTube channel. Naftali even gives out stickers. I put him on the back of my phone.
People love putting it on their phones. Some people even put it on their cars, computers.
My son-in-law, Rafi Sassini, put one on the back of his computer.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's dedication.
We take it.
He's a real follower of the Rebbe.
Well, my last name's Nachman, so, Nachman. Yeah.
Color in it?
This is really cute. Okay, so what inspired you to name it the Rebbe's Choice?
Actually,
How did the stories come about? Like,
it's funny. I was trying to figure out. So when I was in yeshiva in Israel, I started making the herring, and I would just make
your
it.
roommates must have loved that.
I made it outdoors. My roommates were not the biggest fans of the production, so they would eat it though.
Oh, okay, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah. So I started making it and just serving it, after davening on Shabbos and things like that. And then eventually people wanted to start buying from me. It was actually right around Shavuos time. And that was when I first started selling it. And I had a huge order, and I was just making tons of herring like the whole week.
Sorry, Yeshiva.
Yeah, whatever it is. I made up for it on Shavuos, I guess.
Rashi was a winemaker. So you
Right.
made herring, you'll be known as the
Exactly,
herring. And he was the
exactly.
wine guy, and
The
you're the
Rebbe.
herring
I'm
guy.
the herring Rebbe.
Rashi, Naftali,
Yeah. So basically, when I came back to the States in between my first year and second year in yeshiva, I had this idea to start selling my herring just a little bit on the side over the summer. And my sister-in-law, who is a teacher in SKA.
We went through this, right?
She goes by Erica Engel, but she goes by
Mrs.
SD
Engel.
in SK. Mrs. Engel,
Yeah.
right. Mrs. Engel. I actually also do photography. That's a side thing I do. So I do some photography for Halb SKA schools. And I remember once I was taking pictures in her classroom, And when they all kind of connected the dots that I was her brother-in-law, they all kind of like, ooh, you know.
That's so funny. So we are all like one Halb family here.
Right.
Okay.
So
I have a fourth grader in Halb.
Oh, wow. Lovely. So she actually helped me come up with the name, the Rebbe's Choice.
I love it.
And then from there, it gave me that idea to connect each herring flavor to a different Hasidic Rebbe.
Now, did these Rebbes like that kind of herring? Or
So that's not the claim I'm making. What I'm trying to show is how certain inspirations we have from learning can be translated into how we interact with the world. So for me, it's in my business with the herring, but for other people, it might be doing a different good deed or something like that, just to take what we learn in the base medrash and go out into the world and shine that light.
oh my God, I love that. I'm like very moved by that. That's really nice. Especially food especially now, it's such a Gashmias thing, right? Like,
And in Judaism,
take a photo,
food,
do this, do that. Like, fanciest meal, $1,000 sandwich,
Right.
which, don't get me wrong, if I could afford it, I would definitely try it, you know, like, but you know, it's become like a very much
Right,
Gashmi on
right.
that, you
And
know.
I
Now
think-
you're bringing some Ruchnias.
Right. Food in Judaism is one of the holiest things because it's one of these things that could be used in such a negative way, but could also be used in such a positive way.
Right. And look, before you put food in your mouth, you're blessing
You're
it.
making a
You're
bracha, exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, we need to move on to our next herring
Next
now.
flavor.
We've got 6 herrings.
Right. So you said you're not a big fan of spicy.
Oh, is it very spicy or a little spicy?
It's not mild, that's for sure.
Okay,
it
then
depends
maybe,
on your levels.
Maybe
of,
not on the air because I go.
Right.
afterwards.
It's a honey mustard sriracha herring, which is a very unique flavor. All of our flavors are very unique. Even the jalapeno machas, which other brands have them, the flavors are very unique. I'm sure you can tell.
Right, no, I can tell, and I like that it wasn't very harif. I'm going to try that when we're at the end of the show.
Okay, fine.
I'll do it on Instagram, on the Nachum Siegel Network Instagram. But I do not want to do it.
So we'll go maybe in the order of how the flavors came to be. So
Okay, good.
After the jalapeno machas was the honey mustard sriracha, which we'll try off air. But you can try the smoky za'atar herring,
Oh, you
which
had
is
me.
also
You had me at Za'atar.
right,
Okay,
which is
ZK.
also a very unique flavor.
Okay, ZK, give me back your plate. Okay, I'm making one for me. And Rachel, you want to try the Za'atar one? Okay, Rachel. Okay, see, I am in food service business here today.
Right. Okay.
I'm feeding everyone.
I feel like I should be doing this, but
Okay, that's okay. You can load up the next round. Okay, now smoky za'atar, which is not a usual blend of flavors. Did I just get you dirty?
I think so. I
Okay,
think we're
good.
all
Okay.
right. Right. So smoky za'atar is not a usual blend. I've always been interested in cooking and played around a lot with different flavors
Me too.
over the years. So these are all my original recipes.
There's a clove in here.
Yes,
Interesting.
yeah, there are whole cloves in the smoky za'atar. They add in a very subtle, earthy sweetness and aroma.
You really know your food, my friend. Okay, there you go. There you go, ZK. Okay, we're going to have Rachel comment. And... Okay, ZK, I need you with a microphone. You need to load. He's in heaven. ZK is in
Wow,
heaven
yeah, look
eating
at that
this.
face.
Okay. He can.
I've never tried something like this before.
He's-
really good.
It was, yeah, okay, good. Okay, Rachel's, okay. You can say whatever you like.
However you feel.
They're really good. I like that the size isn't too big or isn't too small. It's just perfect.
Okay,
Look at
there
that,
you
just
go.
right.
Just
Goldilocks.
right. Okay. Do you want to go outside and have a look? I'm good. Yeah. See if he's outside. I'm just waiting to meet someone, and Rachel. It's so great having an intern. Rachel's going to go take a look for someone outside for me. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Okay. All right, Naftali. Now it's my
All
turn
right.
to try the za'atar one. I really like that. Talk.
So the smoky za'atar herring, right, it's inspired of Zusha of Anapol, and it's a very complex flavor, but it really does have that earthy sweetness brought out from the cloves, and the za'atar, which is a blend of herbs, Middle Eastern blend of herbs, really brings in a freshness, but still maintaining that earthy balance.
Right. Interesting. I'm not tasting a lot of za'atar, but I really like it. Okay, what's our next one?
So the next one we have is the sweet black pepper herring, which this time I'll do it. I'll put it on the crackers for everyone.
Okay, now he's getting down and dirty. Okay, very good. All right, that's for you, ZK.
You're
okay,
excited.
ZK.
He's eager. He's
ZK's
very
in
eager.
heaven. when I say like sometimes, you know, he likes everyone that comes in. We have a great time eating, but like he doesn't love dairy, so he's very happy to eat herring. Okay.
Do you want to try some of the sweet black pepper herring? Okay.
Okay, but just
so a lot of the herrings that we have are sugar-free. 3 out of the 6 are sugar-free, which is something people are always asking me about.
this is amazing.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
What was that one?
That was the sweet black pepper. So that one has sugar in it, obviously. The jalapeno machis, smoky za'atar, and zesty machis are all sugar-free herrings, and people are very big fans of that because people are, you know, sugar-free for different reasons. And
I love that it's named after the Berditcher River.
Berditcher, yeah.
Yeah, I have a nephew whose name is Levi Yitzchak for the Berditcher
I'm actually
River.
going to be walking down the aisle to the Berditcher Niggin.
What is that? Do we have it? Do we have it, CK?
I'm sure you have it.
We can
I'm not
practice.
singing. I'm not singing on the air. Wow, we have better talent out here.
Foodie talent right here, right now.
Right.
Okay, this is great. All right. What drinks do you suggest that we go with this? Because, you know, we're talking kiddish food here.
Right.
Right. Some of the whiskies, I'm not a fan of whiskey, but some of the whiskies are very strong. Would you go for a whiskey? Would you go with a bourbon? Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? Not really.
It depends, obviously, on which flavor you're eating. I generally like having scotch, and you know, now I can say that because I'm 21. But previous to this, I wasn't able to say that. You know,
Right.
I mean, legally,
On air.
right, on air, right? With on record, I can't say that I recommend any alcohol beverage.
Are
for
you 21 or
herring.
more?
I'm 21. Yeah.
He's so young and so established. Well, we're actually very impressed.
Thank you. I'm working hard, Baruch Hashem. So, happens to be, a lot of people don't realize it, but beer is a very good pairing with herring. Like an IPA, it goes very well. Nice blonde lager, something like that.
I like that. That's a great a blonde lager. I like blonde. And IPAs are a bit strong,
Right.
but I could see a blonde lager.
It
It's
really-
a palate cleanser.
It cleanses the palate, but it brings that saltiness, you know, makes it more mellow, and brings out a lot of other flavors that are nuanced in the herring.
If it wasn't 10:30 in the morning,
Right.
10 o'clock in the morning,
I hear.
I would have said it. I wish we had beer here. Well, I can still say it. I wish we had beer here. Okay, nice cold blonde with these blonde beer with some of this.
Right.
Okay, you guys know what I'm going to have for Shabbos. Okay, great.
Yeah, so the next flavor that we came out with is the zesty machis herring. It's inspired by Reb Nachman of Rimanov.
Oh, that's got my name on it. Literally, right?
Oh, Reb Menachem Mendel.
Menachem or
Yeah,
Nachem?
Menachem Mendel.
Do you have a Nana Nachman one?
I don't.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Can I just say
Yes.
that matches is usually my first choice of herring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my husband loves the cream one
Uh-huh.
in general. Okay. I'm going to take
So
that one.
the onions in here, they're pickled with lemon juice.
In
that's-
this one.
In this herring, right?
Oh, I
And that's how
love
we
pickled
get-
onions.
Right, that's how we get the zesty machis. Gets the zestiness in there.
Oh, my
So
God.
the onions in this flavor are much. They're more important to the whole package compared to the other herrings. A lot of other brands, specifically, also you'll buy herring and it'll just be a package of onions with a couple pieces of fish.
can
Whereas
I
here you're
just
getting
say-
a tremendous amount of fish.
I hate that.
Right.
Don't sell me a bag of onions.
Right. I dislike it as well.
This is exceptional.
Okay, thank you. It's one of our newest flavors. It's the second newest flavor, and people love it.
I love lemon. Everything I make has got a lot of lemon in it, right, Rachel? We've been recipe testing together.
He's liking it.
ZK is like obsessed. He's like, Naomi, this is going to be the best show ever.
So far, which flavor are you taking home today? The zesty machis. Okay. Okay. Make sure if you're out there to pick up some as well.
That was wow, 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 wow.
Wow. Okay, so now we're at a cream sauce herring, the sweet onion herring, which is our newest addition, and it's just flying off the
Is that
shelves.
what you brought to my house?
That is what I brought to your house. People love it, and it's an exciting new flavor that's just, you know, it has that classic cream sauce texture and those basic flavors, but then there's something new and something interesting about it, which is what I'm trying to do.
I absolutely love this. And where can people buy your herring? Like if you are...
You could go to the rebbieschoice.com, and we have a list of all the supermarkets we're in.
Okay.
We're in supermarkets in the Five Towns, Crown Heights, Queens, Teaneck, Riverdale.
Are we shipping across state lines?
Sure. And
my Chicago and LA
so-
listeners want to know.
So we're actually going to be starting to ship out of the New York tri-state area with quality frozen foods in the next couple weeks.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wow, I'm so happy
Yeah.
for you. Don't you love when you get an idea? Okay, let's talk about this. Is what I've always asked: from brain to shelf. That's what I call it.
Right.
Meaning, from when you got the idea in your head till it was on the shelves in Gourmet Glatt. How long was that?
Till it was on the shelves in Gourmet Glatt. Took about 2 years.
Wow.
The first store I was in was Geffen Gourmet in Hewlett, which
Oh,
we're
I
still
love
selling
them.
there.
Shout out to them. I love Geffen Gourmet.
They have excellent dips. Yeah,
Yep.
love that. It's just like a little Israeli makola vibe
They're
in
they're
New York.
fantastic. It's like you're in Israel when you're
Right.
there. Do you go there? Whenever you go there, it's amazing. I love the family that runs it. And kubane, right? You have kubane bread.
Yeah.
They make this insane kubane bread. ZK is like plutzing over
Wow.
there.
Yeah.
You know, when you came over the other day and you left me the leftover of that, my son-in-law found it. And he loves Chassidus and he loves the Horeb. And he knew exactly where you were and he put the sticker on the back of his computer. Like, he went nuts over that herring.
I'm glad
He's
to
like,
hear.
I didn't put it on Friday night because I feel like we'd all eaten from it a little bit. So he's like, where's the herring? Where's the Rebbe's Choice sweet onion herring? I'm like, that's in the fridge. He goes, can I go get it? I'm like, Gesundheit. Like, it's really something special.
Thank
Like,
you.
You know, I see a lot of things. I get sent a lot of things, a lot of samples. I'm a pretty happy person. I'm a pretty chip. I try to promote everyone. But some things I just can't promote. Like, I'm like, this is not really good, or it's not really for my viewers or listeners. And so whenever I do have someone on the show, or I have someone on my Instagram, it's because I really, really love them, and I really, really want to help them. I mean, I want to help everyone, but, but it's because I want to shout you from the rooftops on
Thank you.
every form of media that I have. And I just love the fact you're young and you're an entrepreneur, and you took this brilliant concept. And flavored herrings are not new,
Right.
but the whole Rebbe thing and the giving
Exactly.
us some ruchnius with our gashmias,
Exactly.
right?
That's
like,
the point.
That speaks
To
to me
infuse
so
the
much.
physicality with spirituality.
I'm like very choked up. People are like get carried away so much around food, especially me. I feel like I, stoke the fire with my, love of food, but I don't ever forget where it all comes from.
Right.
Right? Like,
Right. So that's the whole point, like you were saying, of making a bracha before, just to kind of have that designation that I know that although I may have bought this food, in the supermarket and cooked the meal, where's it all really coming from? It's coming from Hashem.
this is really wonderful and very exciting news. I don't know if I mentioned it on air, but Rebbe Naftali is getting married soon.
Yeah, 6 days.
It's
and-
really crazy. Yeah, we spoke about the
Right,
beginning. Yeah,
right.
so very nice. And your Carla is also from the Five Towns where
Right.
you are from.
Remy
so-
Stark. She's the best.
Oh, she's great. They came over to bring me herring, and he's like telling her how to do social media. No, she's
telling me how to do
she's telling
social
him
media.
how to do
No,
social
let's not make
media.
that mistake. Before I met her, my social media game was lacking. She kicked it into gear for me and has been helping me tremendously. And she's helping me in every area of my life, but definitely in my business for sure.
Are you guys going to be doing this full time? You're doing this full
So
time?
she actually does something else. She in the total opposite spectrum. She's
Dietitian?
She does sales for a construction
Oh,
superintendent.
there you go.
company.
I thought maybe the opposite would be like
Right.
a dietitian because it's not so dietetic.
Right. So if you need a construction superintendent, who we have on the show.
Very nice.
Right. So that's what she does, and she helps me a lot, with her free time, just with the business and marketing, because she has an amazing head for marketing.
Right. Isn't it amazing how everything's just changed with marketing? Like
Right,
the-
100%.
the social media,
It's
the traditional
so
media,
powerful.
radio,
Right.
which we love, and newspapers, magazines. It's great. I mean, especially newspapers and magazines, Shabbos. That's our
Right.
Shabbos reading. So you got to be everywhere.
Right.
The Instagram's for this, the radio's for that, the newspapers are for that. You've got to.
Right. With social media, you're getting in front of people's faces, really, and
Right.
they're carrying you around with them all day. So if you use it successfully, you can really light a fire.
Right. Herring fire. Let's talk about herring. Where do you actually get your herring from? Where does the fish guy come from?
Well, most of our herring is imported from Belarus, actually.
Belarus? Where is that? In Russia?
It's in Eastern Europe. Yeah, used to be part of Russia,
And
I guess, before communism fell.
How did you get it here?
We have an importer, and he brings it in for us. And it's the top of the line starting point, and that allows us to bring a top of the line product to the shelves. There's a famous quote from a couple different chefs, but it's that you start with great ingredients and you don't mess them up, and that's how we try to do it.
Right. Is there a big herring market in Europe for importing to America? I mean, it's the only place we can really get it from.
That's really it.
We don't have herring in New York Harbor.
No, there's Atlantic herring. There's also herrings that live in the New York rivers, not the type of herring that we eat. Herring is a very large family of fish from the Culpidae family of fish. So there are herrings that live in the New York waters, but they're not the type of herring that we eat. There's also Pacific herring. There's alewife herring. There's a lot of different types of...
Does each one taste different?
I wouldn't say it tastes different. The textures are different. Machis and schmaltz really mean the same thing. They're basically the same product, and that it's talking about a fish when it's still fatty, when it's young, and when they're older, they burn off a lot of the fat and they get much more muscle tissue. So they're not as tender, and the texture has changed tremendously. So different fish, age at different times, and their textures change depending on the type of herring.
Wow, you have to learn everything about your fields. You have to know, where do herring spawn? Where do they live? Do they swim upstream, downstream, like salmon?
Herring is actually a fish that can't be farmed.
Right, I've actually heard that.
They're all wild caught.
I've actually heard that.
Right. So it's also very sustainable. Exactly. It's also a very sustainable food source compared to other things. It's like meat even or wheat and things like that. It's a very sustainable food source and doesn't cause a lot of pollution, things like that. So if you're also very earth conscious, it's a good choice of food to have.
Let's talk about the health benefits of herring, because I believe they have
Yes.
It's high in all the...
It's very high in...
not the oil part, the actual herring fish.
There's a lot of vitamins, but the main star of the show is the omega-3 fatty acids, which are very good for your health and for your body.
Yeah, we were once told when we were looking into cholesterol-free food. I mean, foods to help you lower your cholesterol.
Right.
Beans and chickpeas and salmon and herring.
Exactly.
But just drain off the oil, because that's probably not...
Well, we also use canola oil. A lot of other brands use soybean oil.
Oh.
Which also, I mean, it's actually not an allergen. I know we just had an allergen expert on the show. Soybean oil, according to the FDA at least, is not an allergen because of how it's processed, so it doesn't cause any allergic reactions. But we use canola oil because there's no trans fats.
Right, and it's a higher quality oil.
Exactly. It's good for the heart. I mean, better for the heart.
Better. What about olive oil or avocado oil?
So, we want to try and keep the cost something that it's competitive to the other brands.
Okay.
We're giving a lot of fish in each container and adding in like that. It'll enhance the gourmet aspect of the product, but then also alienate it from a lot of consumers. Okay,
so that is a great point, and we did touch on it before. How this is a much larger container than you would ever get in an area. It's 100%. Higher.
It's a 12-ounce container compared to an 8-ounce container. And
they're all pretty standard, those other ones. Right. And this is filled with herring, okay? Filled with a gesunter piece of herring.
I didn't pack this one more just because I'm coming on the show.
Right. No, it's fantastic. I see, I've seen your stuff before in the stores. I'm just so excited that I had you on the show today and we got to try a little bit of herring.
I'm very excited to be here.
The Erev Shabbos herring show today. Okay.
Exactly.
But I'm totally going to do that beer thing. I think that's so great.
I highly recommend it. A lot of people don't know that trick.
No, that's
a great pairing.
Maybe we'll make a shandy. You know what a shandy is?
Right, yeah.
Right.
Fruit juice with alcohol.
Yeah, lemonade.
Lemonade with beer.
Lemonade with beer.
Right.
Or Sprite with beer or something. Something like that.
Yeah.
My grandmother called it a shunda. Shunda on the beer and a shunda on the lemonade. Have them separately. Why mix them up? She used to say. Wonderful. Okay, this is Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. We are at the end of the marathon. I hope everybody has hit that donate button to keep the Nachum Segal Network going and alive and doing all the great program that Nachum and Miriam Wallach put together, and the Yoni Pollack, ZK Kopel is always making us sound good, and we're supporting everyone and all the great things that Nachum does for the Jewish community and around the world, right here in America and around the world. So really, thank you to my guest, Dr. Eliana Aaron, all the way from Israel, and right here, Hachatan Naftali Engel, the Rebbe's choice. I was going to say, I was going to call you Rebbe Naftali, but one day soon.
One day soon.
One day soon.
After I get married, put on a Bekasha, maybe we'll get a Shtreimel down the line and we'll see what happens.
Oh, my brother has a Shtreimel and a Bekasha, and we grew up, my dad does not wear a Shtreimel, so.
My father-in-law wears one.
Okay, so
So-
there you go.
So
there
I guess
you
you
go.
got some type of in.
Okay, fantastic. Wishing you a good Shabbos and a Mazel Tov. Everyone, we have music right up to Lech Benching, sponsored by our friends at Kenem. And up next is Mark Zomick with the Erev Shabbos show. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Happy cooking.